Hey guys, Jake here, and I warned you that we would have F124 career mode coming out soon, and here we are for our brand new journey on F124 driver career mode, the brand new expanded mode by EA Sports. This is the calendar: Bahrain, Australia, Miami, Imola, Canada, Spain, Austria, and Great Britain. Good tracks for me in a row there, other than maybe Spain. Belgium is another good track of mine, and then we got Zandvoort, Monza, Azerbaijan, Singapore. Missing out Texas, and then we've got Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, and Qatar, and we're going to leave off Abu Dhabi. So, really, I am actually quite excited for this career mode, and yeah, first race is Bahrain, so let's get up setting this career mode and get into the first race of the season. So, 95 AI difficulty is going to be what we start off with, because I did a race on 98, and I struggled a lot with race pace. Obviously, haven't played the game a lot, so not very consistent with it. We're going to be running 50% races and full quali because we're trying to have as much fun as possible. We will eventually shorten that down probably to short quali 35% in future seasons. But yeah, 16 race calendar. Along with that, it will take us a while to get through that with increased safety car and red flag occurrences as well to make things as interesting as possible. As always, we've gone with the classic number 5 in homage of the great driver Sebastian Vettel, my favourite driver, and it's time to choose an academy, and we're going to go with the Ferrari Academy because when you're a kid, you draw your cars red and you want to be a Ferrari driver one day, and we're going to be starting off with Haas because I have a particular liking to Haas. They are solid, they're a solid team, better than Sauber anyway out of the two Ferrari Junior Academy teams, so why not? And we're not going to be setting the target very high this season. We're going to be setting it at a 70 rating. If we end up blasting that, then it is what it is. I'm not too concerned. But at the end of the day, it'll be what it'll be. So the aim is to get to 70 rating overall and see how that goes. So we're starting off with a 65. But yeah, let's go through the driver lineup. So normally, at the start of a season, I'd leave this sort of stuff uncommentated because it's a cinematic. But for this sort of first episode is literally just me in over Kevin Magnussen, and the rest of it is as is currently on the grid. So it's nothing too exciting for the first season, but obviously in the future, I'd like to let you know that we will be, making this a dramatic thing where we find out who the new drivers are in what team. But yeah, as you can see, pretty much everything's the same other than I'm in there over Kevin Magnussen. Reigning world champs Red Bull, reigning world champion Max Verstappen. Can he be stopped in this first season of career mode? But one way to get towards Red Bull and to stop them is by upgrading, and the first upgrade will go down after the first few weeks of weekly resources on a minor rear downforce, something that's going to be very important throughout this game. And obviously it always makes you do the first practice session of a career mode. We get 5 out of 5 on the race strategy, and we'll probably end up doing the race strategy at every single Grand Prix for the first season. So just to make sure that, we're learning the tracks and stuff like that. And then coming towards the end of the practice sessions, doing some quick sims, getting 2 failures in a row, but we do want that engine power price cut down. Same with weight reduction as well. And that is going to be all of our practice complete and everything done. It's going to be very important that we move up the grid. In terms of team that we're going to aim to jump to next, would it be Ferrari? I mean, if Ferrari fell off and weren't in the top 3 quickest teams anymore, I guess that would be a bit realistic. And obviously, Sainz is leaving in real life. Hamilton's going there. I don't know if he actually would, so maybe I'd be the next man to step up. That's the aim anyway. But gaining a little bit of experience from that practice session, and into qualifying we go. As I'm doing this voiceover, I have got no idea how loud it is compared to my voice. I'm just trying to speak as loud as possible, be clear as possible, because I know that the game's sound is going to be quite loud because it is a car engine. But coming towards the end of our first lap, we're going to go for 2 runs. This first one is going to be using no overtakes, that's very overpowered. Second one's going to be with slightly more worn tyres, but using overtake. So the quickest lap 30.1, 29.6 from Oscar Piastri, up to the line, clipping that curb nicely. The curbs on this year's game, we're not even talking about the fact that this is a brand new game and a new experience. We're just straight into the action. I do quite like this game. You can use the curbs a little bit more. The traction control's not too bad. It's a little bit harder than last year, but it's not too bad. And then, as you can see here, by using overtake, you gain so much time, even on a second run back-to-back. It's just going to gain you a lot of time, but you've got to be careful that you don't use all your deploy too quickly, or else you might just end up finding yourself down on lap time by the end of the lap, and especially a lap, track should I say, where it's important to, how do you word this? Where it's important to get a good exit out of the final corner, so like Baku. If you're using no overtake at Baku, or you use it too much at the start of a lap and you can't use it coming off the back straight, you're going to lose a lot of lap time. But we come up to the line on our second lap to improve, 5 tenths behind Leclerc, but by the time everyone puts a respectable lap in, we are 15th on the cusp of going out, and we are 2 tenths behind Nico Hülkenberg, our teammate. So we need a good lap to get through, and out of Q1, let's see what we can do. As always, I will fully commentate over these laps. I mean, for me especially, I think Q2 laps, because that's where we're expected to be. We're expected to be fighting for 11th position. We are the 11th fastest car, so we'll be fighting with Stroll for points, is what my expectation is. If we do better, AI needs to go up. If we do worse, AI needs to come down, kind of thing. But we're already 6.5 tenths up over the previous lap, and we get a bit of a slide, but it's not going to cost us too much time there. But a purple first sector is slightly concerning. I know I'm a massive quali merchant, but I mean, if I qualify well enough at like every single race, even if I haven't got the race pace, I could eventually just find myself in positions to be doing well at races. But I know this won't be the case for every race. Bahrain's obviously quite a strong track for me. It's normally strong for the AI, which is why I'm normally pushed down quite a bit, but that doesn't seem to be the case so far, as we are 6 tenths up on Valtteri Bottas's lap time, as you can see there on the left-hand side on the time ladder. And we're coming through here. This is the only lap. We can't invalidate or make a mistake on this last corner. We clip the curb nicely. Up to the line, we are 1.1 seconds clear. We have used all of our deploy. Luckily, it's not going to cost us too much because the line is quite close on the straight. And we are going to improve by over a second and get us up to P7, which Hülkenberg ends up getting through, scraping through, should I say, in 15th. And we are 4.2 tenths off of pole, which is slightly concerning because we shouldn't be doing that well, but it is what it is. And now into Q2, using a scrub set of tyres for this first lap, hence why you're only seeing the final corner. Up to the line, deploy already used. We're going to set a 30.7, which isn't the greatest of lap times, but we can put on now a fresh set of tyres for the second lap and get going on to a lap to try get us through to Q3.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session.
So up to the line we come, and we did actually make a mistake of leaving the ERS on through the middle sector by accident, which cost us a little bit of lap time towards the end of the lap. But it is going to be third place in the end. And we only had one set of fresh tyres for Q3, and there was only one lap we could do. I don't know if you might have caught it, but we are 1.2 tenths up on Russell's first sector already. The fastest lap is a 29.007 from Lando. Let's see what we can do. We are going to try and just maybe put up a competitive lap time. The second sector is normally not the strongest for me, but let's see what we can do. We take this corner quite nicely. It's quite hard on this game. You have to fight the car a lot more through corners, which is a lot more realistic, and I think it's quite nice. So yeah, and then up in the middle sector, 3.8 tenths up on George Russell's time. This is going to be a blinder of the lap. We don't finish the end of the lap, but I will tell you now, we messed up the last corner and lost a lot of time, but we still get P3, which is absolutely ridiculous. The last corner mistake as well cost us maybe a tenth or more, which means we could have been on the front row, if not pole, with Hülkenberg down in 14th, 1.7 seconds off my time, or 1.5 seconds off my time. So theoretically in quali, we should be running 110 AI if that's the case, because it's a 10th per one thing. But I think that was more a disappointing lap time from Hulkenberg than it was a good one from me in comparison. But we are going to be going for a one-stop strategy. I know we're not going to have the race pace today, so I'm hoping that we can get onto the set of hards. Hopefully they don't wear as much as the mediums will, and hopefully we can just consistently get to the end and fight for position at the end and hold track position over the AI. So 5 red lights for the Grand Prix, starting on the mediums, and it is lights out, and away we go. We get a good start compared to Verstappen, but we get a lot of wheel spin and a lot of random snaps which send us into the wall. Luckily, no damage there, but a lot of drivers coming down along our left-hand side, including Leclerc on softs. We're going to send it up the inside of Leclerc. Leaves us little to no room, which is fair enough, but then we get stuck on the Ferrari driver, and Perez is able to slip himself through up into P3, but we're battling Leclerc here. Really, we should be letting him through, but it's lap 1 of the Grand Prix. He is on the soft tyres, but we're going to battle him anyway. Clipping that inside curb, getting a nice bit of rotation, leaving him space, but he's still there, Leclerc, in the Ferrari. He's still going for it around the outside, but we're going to eventually be able to leave him enough room, but then squeeze him out at the right time. He can't get his way through. And eventually onto lap 7. I mean, I know I've just skipped 6 laps, but eventually Leclerc got past us, and then Russell was only just overtaken us at this point. And look at that tyre wear. Oh my word, that tyre wear is absolutely atrocious. The rear left is throbbing, the rear right is struggling, the front left is on its last legs, and the front right is just fine. So, fair enough. But coming into lap 8, onto lap 9 now, I think it's going to be about our time to box. If not, it will be drivers other than us coming in right now. Alonso has a little look up the inside there, funnily enough, but he doesn't make the move. We're going to stay out another lap as we overtake the race leaders, Verstappen and Norris, and we manage to get another position in the stops, which gets us up to 3rd, in behind Russell, and Perez is quite far down the road. And then on to lap 10, myself and George Russell box. At this point, we were looking like we were going to maybe attempt a 2-stop later on, but I think it was still just depending on how bad the tyre wear was on the hards. But to ruin it now, very good tyre wear on the hards. They look like they could be a brilliant race tyre this game. So onto the hard tyres we go, and it's a fantastic stop from the team, and it almost gets us out ahead of Russell. He ends up ghosting through us there quite luckily, but coming out of the pit stop phases, we lose a lot of time to Russell on cold tyres, which we struggle to warm up in comparison, and we have Sainz behind us on the softs, so we just have to let him through. There's not really much we can do other than let Sainz through there. We can't fight him, we shouldn't hold him up, it's not realistic, and we just have to let him through and see if we can stick with him for DRS, which I think we actually managed to do for a lap or so. But yeah, Sainz on them fresh softs, he's not going to be easy to catch, but maybe we can get him in a 3rd stim, or we'll gain that track position on him when he boxes for another set of tyres. And it was at this stage of the Grand Prix where we'd been undercut massively. We then got overtook by Piastri, and it was at this point where I was like, wow, this is where we should be, but considering where we started and where we were before we boxed, we've been massively undercut. So it's a bit of a shame, and we are being told to overtake Russell, which is weird. We run a little bit wide there. But according to the team, apparently we're quicker than Russell, who is a position ahead of us, or maybe that's a little of an over-ambitious target. But we are 1.6 ahead of Stroll as we go into this corner, and Sainz makes a mistake locking up, and it holds up myself and Russell and Piastri. Sainz, who was on them soft tyres and was looking to overtake Lewis Hamilton, has allowed Hamilton to run off down the road. But this holds everyone up quite majorly here, and now we are actually having an opportunity of maybe being able to overtake Russell if them two fight and we can get a good exit. But we're going to have a look. We're very good into this corner. We nudge Piastri onto the curb, which allows us to get past. It's a very dirty move, and the FIA will probably have a look at it, but it's a game, so unlucky Piastri. He might have a look at us back on the straight again, but these two are going to have a major fight here down into turn 1, which could allow us to gain some time. And as you can see here, they do. They are side by side. We're going to look to try get an ambitious exit and maybe make a move on Russell, but the AI's straight line speed is too good, and we can't get close enough. So because of my superior braking ability, we're going to send it down the inside of George Russell. He leaves us enough room. It's a brilliant little overtake, but he stays on the outside. Will this allow Sainz to get away? Probably, but we need to overtake Russell. He's on the same strategy as I am, and we get the move, squeezing him out into the S section. And now Russell is dropping back on the next lap, actually, or a few laps later. And I wonder why that could be. I mean, he's just dropping back. He's losing time. This is really, really weird and something I wouldn't expect. I mean, do we have pace, or is this a potential issue here for the Mercedes? And he's holding up Piastri, which is great for us, but I don't know. And we're also catching Hamilton, as you can see on the left-hand side slightly, every single now and again, but let's see what it is.
Here's some information on Russell for you. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
So it is an issue there with George Russell, which is allowing us to pull away by 1.5 seconds at this point, and Piastri will eventually overtake him. As you can see here, he is overtaken, and we've dropped Russell by 2.5 seconds, caught Hamilton by quite a bit as well, to be fair, and Piastri is almost within DRS range, but we just about managed to keep him out into that final corner as the medium runners now come into the box, along with Lando Norris. And that puts us up to P5 in this Grand Prix with only the soft runner of Carlos Sainz ahead of me. And it was at this point where on pace we had dropped Piastri on these hards and we were feeling very good, very minimal tyre wear. About 9 laps done on these tyres, only another 10 to do, and we only had 26 wear at worst, which means we would only have 50% by the end. And I was just thinking at this point, let's stay out for the one stop, and we do. We're going to stay out for the one stop and eventually take the lead of this race, but there is a Ferrari there just kind of stuck on the map with Verstappen and Norris about to catch me and be in my DRS. Let's see what this potentially could be. Could this be a safety car or even a red flag to help me as I'm currently in the lead of this Grand Prix? Let's have a little look. He was sat there for a while, so it must be a spin of sorts. But it is a spin. It's a spin for the Ferrari, I think, of Charles Leclerc there, who's overtaken by his teammate and the Mercedes, and then gets overtaken by a bunch of other cars as well before the FIA decide to take any action whatsoever. And as you can see here, this is the thumbnail for this video. So let's see what this could potentially be. We come straight out of the pause menu and it's a red flag. And we have the lead of the Grand Prix with a set of fresh mediums to switch on to. And it is a red flag, guys. This could be huge. This could give us a small chance of winning this race. Maybe not. Maybe the Red Bulls have got too much pace for us. But this gives us a great chance of not being undercut and losing positions. So here we go then. With only 7 laps to go, we're off the line, but it's a poor start. Verstappen gets straight past us there, bullying his way past. We're going to have Perez coming up the inside. We're going to have to defend from Perez if possible. We're going to have a little look. He's going to have a little look down the inside. We're going to leave him enough respectable racing room. He is in a fast Red Bull today, but there is a chance here of potentially P2, if not P3, but we need to try stay with Max Verstappen, and that is what we do. Multiple laps later, we are still behind Verstappen, only a 10th of his quickest lap, staying within the DRS range. And potentially maybe looking to make a move past him, but we try everything in the upcoming laps to stick with him, and we just can't do it. He's got too much pace for us, and we've used all of our ERS already, which means Perez 6 tenths back with a rocket ship in a straight line as the AI have. He's probably just going to come straight past us here. We have nothing to defend against him with, and Perez is through. But now we need to try stick with Perez here, and we've got Fernando Alonso right behind us. Let's see what we can do. And Hulkenberg, yeah, that's right. Hulkenberg is in P7. He also hadn't boxed when that red flag came out, and he's now taking advantage of it. I think he has now been overtaken by Oscar Piastri as we come on here to the last lap. Hulkenberg in 8th, us battling for 3rd against Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris, sorry. Not Oscar Piastri, he's just overtaken Hulkenberg. But here we are, catching Alonso. We need to make this move. Norris has got the overspeed in a way quicker AI car. Alonso's going to defend Norris and allow me to sail around the outside on the late braking that we have with this setup. And we're going to go round the outside. We're going to put our car on the inside, force him to go wide. And we've now got a chance. He's going to have more straight line speed. Alonso should be closing the door here, but a man with that much experience doesn't close the door and lets me outbrake him on the outside. But Alonso is still there. On the last lap of the Grand Prix, we squeeze him out. He's coming on our inside onto the last corner here, but we squeeze him out. And as we come up to the line, in a Haas, on merit, with not a lot of race pace, we did enough with the red flag and the look of the red flag to get P3.
There was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen. He takes victory.
It's always great to kick off the season with a race victory. You hit the ground running, and it's really good for your confidence as well moving forward. It's so important.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Wow. So in the end, we finished P3, only a 10th off having the fastest lap as well. It's going to be 15 points. Hulkenberg comfortably getting 8th position there over Lance Stroll, who was nowhere near him. But Hulkenberg did well in that race, which means that other than Red Bull getting a 1-2, we are now the second team in the Constructors, which is absolutely mental and something I didn't expect at all from this episode. But it was just a well-executed race. We got lucky with the strategy. I think if we'd have stayed out on the hards and there'd been no safety car or red flag, then I think maybe we would have got top 5 still. But that is mental. And look at how the ratings are flying up here. We're going to be up to that rating in no time, unless we struggle at the upcoming Grand Prix. But that is going to be all for this video on F124, my first video on F124. If you've got anything you want to say, let me know down below. Any questions, any queries, and I'll see you all next time for Melbourne, the Australian Grand Prix, where hopefully we can get some more points.